What's up guys, Elfis here, and today we're going to be doing some more HoN tips. This one is going to be about attack modifiers pertaining to carry and carry-like heroes. So for example, like Hammerstorm isn't really a hard carry, but he is a carry-like hero and he can carry given the opportunity to. But he wouldn't be considered like a hard carry like Scout Wood or Madman or Dark Lady. So anyways, carry and carry-like heroes. So I just want to quickly mention that pretty much any hero who isn't a carry or carry-like, don't get an attack modifier on him. There's no point to do it because you're not, using it to its fullest potential. And I also want to mention real quick that, well, two more things. Firstly being, just because you're doing something and winning with it doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. Doesn't mean you're doing the best thing. The point in getting a correct build, is to optimize your potential, not to just give your hero potential, because any item you buy that gives stats is obviously going to increase your hero's capability. But buying strength items on a carry, an agility carry, doesn't really make sense because it's not optimizing his ability, you know what I mean? So builds are meant to optimize your hero. So attack modifiers should be incorporated into builds when necessary, obviously, not always. And so with that being said, I covered that. The other thing I just wanted to cover real quickly was that these are recommendations. You can get away with not getting attack modifiers, just because I'm telling you that these heroes can have an attack modifier doesn't mean they have to. Some builds don't incorporate them, although I would say you should have them on all of these heroes with a few exceptions, and I think I'll point them out here in a minute. So I'm not sure if I covered it already, but don't get more than one attack modifier. These are I have, some of these have two. These are potential attack modifiers. You shouldn't have two, though. Only because you can't, even though you can cycle through them, you can't use them both at the same time, so you're not getting the full potential of your items. So with that being said, I'm going to quickly click through all of these heroes and just show you the attack modifiers that I'm saying are okay to get on these. Again, you can take this with a grain of salt if you want, it's up to you. And I'll mention real quick, the Whispering Helm upgrades into the Symbol of Rage, so these two, you should never have them at the same time, because this one, you need this to make, so there's no reason to buy another Whispering Helm afterwards, or to buy a new Whispering Helm. It just doesn't make any sense. So, those are upgradable, things. And then on heroes, some of them have Frostburns and, Frostwolf Skulls. And I didn't include Geometer's Bane, although if it has a Frostwolf Skull, unless I mention, which I will, most of these heroes will also have Geo's Banes to go with them. It's just that Geo's Banes aren't attack modifiers, so they're not necessarily included in this video. So, the Whispering Helm upgrades to the Symbol of Rage, and if they don't have a Frostwolf Skull, that means that just having the Frostburn on them is fine to just leave it as that as one of their final items. So Bloodhunter, Frostwolf, or Frostburn, well, I guess I can cover these. Lifesteal is really the only, you don't need a slow on him because he has a slow, Arachnidine. And you can read the hero names because I'll highlight over them while I'm doing it. But you don't need a slow because he has a slow, and, other than that, you don't need a shield breaker. It's a weird item to get. You don't need, you don't need it. Also, real quick, I just want to say these are heroes that I've had much experience with. So some of the carry heroes are not on here. For example, like Solstice can kind of be a carry, even though he's like a jungler kind of thing. Maybe Blitz. Who's that other guy? I can't remember. The other guy that reminds me of Blitz. There's that big, giant guy that, I don't remember his name, he's like a barbarian or something like that. Those guys, they could have they could have attack modifiers too, but I'm not sure because I haven't had enough experience with them to, be qualified to say what their attack modifiers should be. So these are ones that I know. And also the new items, the Dawnbringer and the Frozen Light, are attack modifiers as well. I have not had enough experience with them either. They may work on a number of these heroes as well, so I'm not going to get into that though because I haven't had enough experience. But I would imagine a lot of these heroes with Frostburns would be okay to, upgrade to Dawnbringers. With the exceptions of the ones that have Frostwolf Skulls as well. So like this, Fade, EW, Dampier, Corrupted, these guys would be okay, I would imagine, would be okay to upgrade to Dawnbringer, but, take that with an extra grain of salt, because I'm not sure, about, their details. I haven't had enough experience with them, but let's get back to the list at hand. Bloodhunter, Frostburn, good. You know, the extra move speed always helps. And actually, with a Frostburn and your thing, his ability, you're almost at. I believe you're either almost at or you are at a permanent haste when you have your ability active for the low health thing. Kronos, Elder Parasite, there's really no other item to get on him. Maybe sometimes you'll see people get a Shield Breaker, but it's really weird. Kronos with his Elder Parasite Savage Mace is a great combination for once he's in his ultimate, he just beasts on somebody. Corrupted, you know, this is a pretty good, Frostburn's a pretty good item. Sometimes you'll see people go Geos, Frostwolf Skull. It's okay, I don't think it's necessary, but it's not bad. Dampier, Frostburn, sometimes you won't even see people do that. Sometimes they'll go without an attack modifier and they'll go more spell damagey as opposed to auto attacks. EW, I call them EDubs. EW, Emerald Warden, you can get a Frostwolf and Geo if you want. I don't think it's necessary though. Fade, just stick to the Frostburn. Even then, you don't even need to have this if you don't want, but this is a good item to start working towards after you've on your codex, because, you know, Fade's kind of a troll hero, I think, in my personal opinion. I read my name, Elfis. Flint, you should have a Geos there as well. You know, I'm not going to cover these things for obvious reasons. Like, he doesn't have lifesteal just because he doesn't need it, because the Geos and his range and his positioning should be enough to keep you surviving without flaw, you know. Same thing with Forsaken, Hammerstorm, you know, his ultimate as well as his AoE stuff. His AoE passive that he has, like a Rune Cleaver passive, kind of. It's one of his abilities. The Elder Parasite helps with that, increasing the attack speed. Rampage, movement speed is amazing, so you're going to want to... Any movement speed you get on him instantly increases your attack damage. It's one of his abilities. I guess I should be clicking on them as I'm going through, so sorry about that. So I'll just click through real quick. You guys can pause and look at it to, you know, verify. And, you know, feel free to argue with me in the comments if you think I'm wrong on something. Please, you know, tell me why you think I'm wrong, and let me know, because I'd like to learn it too if I am wrong about something. But these are ones that I've had pretty good success with. And actually, a Harkin's Blade is an attack modifier. I didn't include this only because none of these heroes use it, except for Puppet Master can use a Harkin's Blade. I'm okay with him having a Harkins. Harkins is an okay item for him and for Dr. Repulsor. Those are the only two heroes you should ever get a Harkins on. And even, well, actually that's not true. You can get Harkins if they're building really heavy physical damage, physical armor, sorry. But it's not really an item I would recommend low-tier players to experiment with. But, you know, even on, like, Scout or something, you can get one if they're building a lot of armor, and you don't want to go Shield Breaker for some reason, although Shield Breaker usually deals with that. But, you know, sometimes you will see people go Harkins. But, you know, the only two heroes low-tier players should use that with is definitely Dr. Repulsor. At some point, he should get a Harkins. And, although probably not till really late, and maybe Puppet Master if you want. It's kind of up for debate, but I would say it's a potential for him. But so Puppet Master, the lifesteal, you know, that helps in the minions and stuff. That helps. You know, we're gonna keep going along. Predator. Sometimes I personally like to go with the Frostburn because it helps with the slow and the movement speed, and it's just awesome. It gives you stats that you need: agility, strength, move speed, you know, all that good stuff. But, you know, some people go Shield Breaker because they like to go pure damage. That's, you know, kind of up to you. I personally do Frostburn, but it's up to you. Panda, Shield Breaker, there's no question about it. I mean, all of his stuff is physical damage. Get a Shield Breaker. Nomad, Shield Breaker, Frostburn. I've seen people do both. I like Shield Breaker, but, you know, same thing as before. Some people, you know, like to do either or. Elder Parasite on Nighthound. You could even get away without an attack modifier on him, but Lifesteal is always a good one on Nighthound. Monkey King, same thing as Panda. A lot of his, you know, he really, you know, a lot of his stuff is physical. Like this is physical, you know, dash forward, dealing attack damage and stuff. That's magic damage. That's actually physical damage, though. So, I mean, you know, again, it's, you know, same thing as Panda. It's just kind of obvious. She needs a lifesteal. It really helps because she has to get in close to kill things. Kind of obvious. Malakin, the lifesteal helps it so that he can keep his extra damage up for eternity. Plus, he can become ranged, so the Symbol of Rage is amazing. You know, it's awesome doing all that AoE damage and healing up, and it's incredible. If you haven't played Malakin, play him. He's so much fun. Magebane, you can do Frostburn. Some people don't do that. Some people like to go with a Brutalizer, but those are bashing stuff. That's not attack modifier, so actually you could get both, although you don't need it. But other than that, you know, there's no real reason to get a different attack modifier in him. He doesn't need any of them. Scout, Shield Breaker is the bomb on Scout. It's amazing. If you know, it's awesome. You just jump out of nowhere and 3-hit somebody. It's the best. Shield Breaker, sorry, not Shield Breaker. Silhouette. Frostburn, Geos, and Frostwolf Skull eventually. Also, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Frostburn will break into a Geos and Frostwolf Skull, so don't get both. Again, they won't stack, so don't get both. Swiftblade, Frostburn. Sometimes people get Abyssal Skulls on Swiftblade. That's not an attack modifier, though, so you can get both. It's totally fine. Dark Lady, Shieldbreaker. It's a pretty good one. Sometimes you'll see people get Elder Parasite, although I wouldn't agree with it, but, sometimes you'll see it. Madman, lifesteals the bomb on him again, because he gets all that attack speed from his ultimate. Same thing, Geos and Frostwolf eventually from your Frostburn. War Beast, Shieldbreaker, of course. He's a beast. He does so much damage. And same thing, sometimes people will get Abyssal on him, which I actually like. Abyssal on him is really good. An early Abyssal. If you get it late, it's worthless. But an early Abyssal is really good on him, so that'll help. And again, it's not an attack modifier, so it'll stack. Frostwolf on Hag. You should not get a Frostburn, though. I don't think there's any need to. Sometimes people will get a Frostburn and then break it into a Geos Frostwolf. I don't think that's necessary. I like to get a Frostwolf Skull late game on Hag, because once you've gotten her attack speed up and all that kind of stuff, her attack damage, it's a really nice item to have. But I wouldn't get the Geos as well, and I certainly wouldn't get the Frostburn. But again, some people would, I guess. And then Gemini, you could get either of these. I like the Shieldbreaker only because he has some AoE slows when you break him up. He has those stuns and such. He has a significant amount of CC, but CC meaning crowd control. But you can get it if you want. So with that being said, those are the heroes that I have had experience with that I can, say these attack modifiers are good. What I want to say to new players, when I started out, and I've noticed that new players still do it, lifesteal tends to be the bomb. Everybody's like, oh, lifesteal, that's amazing. I'm getting lifesteal. I'll stay alive forever. It's not necessarily the best thing to get on every hero. Sometimes you can get by with getting more damage and just grabbing a shrunken head. You should look into it. I mean, lifesteal's not always the best option to get, as you'll have noticed if you've watched this whole thing, that some of these are better with different ones. But so real quick, I want to go over a few heroes that don't need attack modifiers. A few carry type heroes that don't need it. Kraken doesn't need it. Torturer, Master of Arms, Gladiator, Zephyr doesn't need it as well. And I want to make a quick note, Maka Brilliance is not an attack modifier, and also Demonic Breastplate, also not an attack modifier, but 2 or 3 of these heroes, being Zephyr, Kraken, Tremble, and debatably Sandwraith, sometimes you'll see it on Sandwraith, can get Demonic Breastplates. And Tremble and Zephyr can both get Mox, and they're great. And also Mana Combustion ability. Mana Combustion is not an attack modifier, so by that I mean Nullfire Blade is not an attack modifier. And we'll go into, I believe it should be combative, and yes, here we go. Mana Combustion modifier, not an attack modifier, so keep that in mind. You actually can get an attack modifier too if you want, but again, these heroes I don't think need it. So what I will say real quick is sometimes you'll see people get them on some of them, so Frostburn tends to be a pretty big pickup with a number of these heroes. Not Zephyr, not Kraken, those are weird ones that don't need any modifier. Same thing with Gladiator, he gets, Rift Shards and a Shroud and that kind of stuff, but all that's not attack modifier stuff. Sometimes you'll see Torturers get Harkens. I don't agree with it, but, it's not a bad item, I guess, if they go really heavy into carry attack damage stuff, but most of the time you'll see them get, like, Sheep Sticks and, things of that nature, Shrunken Heads maybe, potentially Behemoth Hearts if they want, I guess. And, Tremble, you'll see a Frostburn a lot of the time. It's not a terrible item, I just don't think he needs it because he has plenty of movement speed, as well as he has a slow from his default auto attack, so I don't think it's necessary. But, Mana Combustion, for example, the Nullfire can go on. Sandwraith, fine. Master of Arms, fine. Maybe Gunblade, if you want, but I wouldn't. It's not a good item to get on him, really, but it's not necessarily terrible. But, so these are the heroes that I think don't need attack modifiers at all in their builds. They can go with, Mana Combustions and other things of that nature that are not attack modifiers. You can get attack modifiers if you want, but again, you're trying to optimize your build, not necessarily, just get items to get items. So, that's that. With that being said, that's all I wanted to cover when it comes to attack modifiers. Again, I don't have enough experience with the Dawnbringer or Frozen Light to really say much on that. Sorry, maybe I'll start looking into it, seriously, so I can give you guys some better information on those. But I would imagine that a lot of these guys that get Frostburns and don't upgrade them to Frostwolves or Geos can actually work well with a Dawnbringer as well. But I'm not sure. And I know the Frozen Light tends to be more of a like intelligence kind of item, like an intelligence carry kind of item. So maybe that would work decent on Hag, possibly. But maybe on Torturer as well. I'm not sure. But I'd have to look into it. But anyways, this has been a HoN tips video covering attack modifiers. I hope you guys learned what you needed to know about attack modifiers. Please just stop getting a lifesteal on every hero. It's not the best thing to get. It's not necessarily wrong. I'm not saying you're going to lose games by doing it. It's just not the best. You may be winning, but that doesn't make you right when you're saying that that's the right way to go. So that's that. Couple announcements. Hopefully more tips videos coming out. Maybe I'm not actually sure if there's a lot of bashing items. I don't think I need to cover bashing. I think it's just the brutalizer for bashing. I'm actually not even sure where it is. Initiation. No, I don't even know where the brutalizer is, to be honest with you, like normally, because it's not an item you tend to pick up. Did I miss? Oh, there it is. Bash modifier, and it looks like that's the only one. So it's not a big thing. So I'm not gonna make a video on that, but I will be making more tips videos in the future. So stick around. Like and subscribe if you want, or dislike if you disliked it. But please tell me why. Other than that, I'm going to reiterate what I said last video. I'm going to start a new patch series, hopefully coming out this Friday, which would be tomorrow. Actually, today's Thursday. Happy holidays to everybody. Christmas is coming up. Hanukkah, I think, has already started. I'm not actually Jewish, so I don't know the days, but I think it's like the 8 days before that or something. I'm not sure. But either way, happy Hanukkah, all that stuff. Happy holidays. New Year's is coming up as well. And if you would like me to analyze one of your replays, send me the replay, and I will make a video analyzing it and telling you all the things you're doing wrong and need to change, and tell you all the things you're doing right so you can continue to do them, and XYZ and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. I'll nitpick every little detail and tell you all the stuff you're doing and need to change, etc., etc. So if you want that, feel free to send me it. Any level, doesn't matter, and I'll nitpick it. You could be 1200, you could be the worst player in the entire world. I'll still tell you everything that you're doing wrong. Also, I think that's it. So yes, again, like and subscribe if you want. You know where the buttons are. Hit them if you'd like, or dislike if you disliked it, but please tell me why in the comments section below, or in the inbox if you don't want to post a comment. And other than that, though, this has been a HoN Tips video on attack modifiers with Elfis, and I will see you guys later. Elfis out.